I've been into gaming for a very long time. I don't know how I managed to make it this far without ever playing a game in the God of War series. Until now. It's always been on my radar, but somehow I've never picked one up. I kind of regret that after playing this one though. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. Please hit the like button and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what you think about the God of War series or what game you'd like to see me talk about next. Alright, let's get into it. God of War is an action and adventure game that was released in 2018 for the PlayStation 4 and published by Sony. In 2022, the game was also released on PC. This was the 8th God of War game in the series. That's something I didn't realize at all. And it's the sequel to God of War 3, which was released in 2010. I've heard the previous games was loosely based off Greek mythology, but this one was mostly inspired by Norse mythology. If you're a fan of Marvel and Thor, then you kind of know some of the lore already. There are a lot of familiar names in this game that you might recognize. Names like Baldur, the World Serpent, Valkyrie, Odin, and Freya. You'll also recognize different concepts like the 9 realms, with Earth being Midgard, Odin leading over Asgard, and the Bifrost being the way you travel between these realms. The story is a fairly strong component of the game. It follows Kratos and his son Atreus as they take on a mission to fulfill Atreus' deceased mother's last request. The goal is to spread her ashes from the highest point in all of the 9 realms. Along their journey to complete this main task, they'll face many challenges and challengers. Things aren't predictable, and you never really know what's going to happen next. One of the challenges that our two main characters face is getting to know each other. Apparently, Kratos and Atreus have not always been the closest. You get to see their relationship change and grow over time though. The character growth from both of them are really nice. You get to see Kratos grow as a father, and you also get to see Atreus grow from an immature little boy to a mature young man. The game is kind of the story of Atreus growing into his own. They also face many different creatures and enemies along the way. You get to face off against some other guys as well. The boss fights gets harder and harder the further you go along in the story. The game doesn't waste a lot of time. You get to the action pretty quick. The combat system isn't too complicated though, and I was able to pick it up fairly quick. Early on, you kind of just button smash, but as you move along, combat gets more intense and the level of skill needed is increased. There are a number of different finishing moves that you can perform. Some against minor enemies, but some against major bosses as well. There's a nice variety, and it adds a cool aesthetic to the game, and it shows how brutal Kratos can be when needed. You have a couple different weapons that you use throughout the game. You start off with the Leviathan Axe. It kind of works like Mjolnir or Stormbreaker. You can throw it and recall it back to you. It's a very versatile weapon. You also have your shield, which can double as an offensive or a defensive weapon. Later on in the story, Kratos seems to go back to his roots with what is said to be his signature weapons, the Blades of Chaos. The blades are imbued with primordial fire, which allows them to ignite with each attack. From then on, you have the ability to switch between the two different weapons, and you can also use your bare hands. Each weapon has its own strengths and weaknesses, and different enemies are weak to different elements. So sometimes the weapon that you use is determined by the enemy that you're facing at the time. Along the journey, Kratos and Atreus meet a couple of dwarfs by the names of Brock and Sindri. The brothers are blacksmiths who do great work, and they are the people that forged Thor's hammer Mjolnir and the Leviathan Axe. They help and upgrade Kratos and Atreus' weapons and gear along the way. You just have to have the right supplies for whatever upgrade that you're trying to make. Your weapons also play a vital role as tools that are used to help you solve different puzzles and be able to help you get to different locations that you wouldn't be able to get to without them. Yeah, I can't believe I went this long without ever playing a God of War game. I've always been a little interested in the series, but never enough to pull the trigger and to get a game. I kind of regret that now. I'm definitely going to go back and play Ragnarok, and I might go back and play some of the other games in the series too. I'm just not quite sure yet. I would like to know more of the backstory of the series though. If I don't go back and play the other games, I'll at least read up on it. Overall, I did really enjoy this game, and if you hadn't gotten into the series yet, this game isn't too late for you to start. I would recommend playing it if you haven't played. Amazon and Sony are developing a live-action TV series. There hasn't been a release date announced yet, but the series is definitely in the works. If you made it this far, thanks. Please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think about the God of War series, or what game you like to see me talk about next. Also, be on the lookout for our anime channel. That's still in the works. Got it coming soon. Alright, until next time, we're out. Peace.